Hey Psych students! Thus far we have looked at three lobes of the brain, the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, and the temporal lobe. But there is one more that we need to look at, the occipital lobe. In this video, we're looking at the structure and function of this lobe. Again, using this diagram, we can see that the occipital lobe is the smallest of the four main lobes in the brain. It sits right at the back, behind both the parietal and temporal lobes. We have looked at touch, perception, and hearing. The biggest thing that this leaves is sight, and that is precisely what the occipital lobe is all about. Indeed, the occipital lobe deals with visual sensory information. Subsequently, partial or complete blindness may be the result of damage to the occipital lobe. Damage to the association area of the left occipital lobe tends to affect the right visual field, whereas damage to the association area of the right occipital lobe tends to affect the left visual field. And note here that visual field is not the same as eye. This will become more important as we look at conditions such as split brain. Indeed, the left visual field is comprised of the left section of both eyes, and the right visual field is comprised of the right section of both eyes. The left visual field is processed by the right occipital lobe, and vice versa. This is handy information if we're trying to answer this multiple choice question from the 2010 VCE exam. It reads, visual images received in the left visual field are processed in the A. occipital lobe of the left and right hemispheres, B. temporal lobe of the right hemisphere only, C. occipital lobe of the right hemisphere only, or D. occipital lobe of the left hemisphere only. We can immediately discount option B because we know that the temporal lobe does not work primarily with visual sensory information. Information from the left visual field is not processed by the left occipital lobe, so we can rule out option D too. That leaves only A and C. The correct response is option C, because information from the left visual field is processed in the right occipital lobe. For a recap of any or all of the four main lobes of the brain, see the information below. But for now, keep studying hard and have a psychedelic day.